According to the New York Times, in a Sunday review, Cliff Zukin claims that the election polling is in fact a disaster. I quote, "Election polling is in near crisis, and we pollsters know it. So what's the solution? There isn't one. Our old paradigm has broken down." On Sunday, Breitbart's News Daily with Sirius XM host Alex Marlow, political strategist Pat Caddell outlined his charge that Reuters tampered with its own daily tracking poll to manufacture a sudden surge for Hillary Clinton.
They not only changed their formula to put Hillary ahead, they went back and changed the results for a week of results where Trump was ahead, and then they turned those into Hillary leads. They also erased all the former polling off the site. They didn't tweak their procedure, they cooked it. Never in my life have I seen a news organization and a supposedly reputable poll do something so dishonest. They have made a switch as much as 9 points in their results from the beginning of last week, 25th and 26th. It is beyond doubt the most outrageous thing, and this is what the media is willing to do to try to elect her. You must go to the real issue, though, Alex, which is this poll is nothing but a part of a media offensive in the 45 years since I was a child in top-level presidential campaigns. I have never seen the media on such a jihad and so involved in hiding facts and not following up. And this is a crisis of the democracy, what the press is now doing.
Now, if we're worried about polling fraud, we also need to be aware of election fraud. Homeland Security Chief Jay Johnson has said he has concerns that hackers could infiltrate the voting system. Jay Johnson said Wednesday he is increasingly concerned that hackers could infiltrate the nation's electoral system, and said the Obama administration is considering ways to bolster it from attacks. The website TrueDemocracyParty.net has made a report on voting machines. They've also shared multiple YouTube videos that show how these voting machines cannot work. Massive potential documented voting machine fraud has led the True Democracy Party to one conclusion: you cannot trust voting machines. So these are the facts regarding the current polls in the 2016 presidential race.
What he didn't tell you was twofold. He didn't tell you that Reuters and AP are part of the super secret private consortium that announces who the winner is nationwide. It's been a controversy every election for decades. We're going to get to that in a moment. And he didn't tell you that they've changed the methodology since Trump got way ahead in the polls to sample 10 to 15% more Democrats in a poll than Republicans, putting Hillary 10 to 15 points ahead fraudulently in what a lot of top pollsters have called criminal fraud, absolute malfeasance. So let's look at some of those poll numbers. Here's an example from Reuters' own website, where they conducted polls July 16th to July 20th with the new methodology they are still continuing with. 650 Democrats versus 496 Republicans. Then they've been caught also skewing so-called independents, 196, mainly picking, quote, Democrats and progressives. Then they're able to give you the number of Hillary Clinton 7 to 10 points ahead, and they're continuing to use this methodology, something they've never done before. But despite that, if you fast forward to now, in early August, Zero Hedge breaks down and links directly to Reuters, where suddenly her 10-point lead has shrunk to 3 points or has evaporated in some of their other polls. Despite the fraudulent methodology of adding 10 to 15 percentage points to Hillary by sampling, knowing Democrats are going to go for her, she still has 0 to 3% lead. That gives Trump a 10 to 12% lead. And don't forget, there's a lot of closeted voters out there that are just populists who want change. A lot of Sanders voters that know they were robbed, who are scared to say they're voting for Trump, but are planning to vote for Trump. Now let's look at the most important information yet. Breitbart is reporting on numbers that anybody can compile for themselves that Gateway Pundit put together. These are public numbers. These are crowdsourcing. And whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, you name it, Trump has 3, 4, 5 times the positive reviews and the support that Hillary does. And that's what we see on the streets of America. We can't find Hillary signs or Hillary stickers. We did exit polls ourselves in California, and 8 out of 10 people were supporting Sanders over Hillary. But see, don't forget, AP, and we're getting to that right now, met the day before with the superdelegates at a rich donor's house with Hillary, and the superdelegates said, we're going for Hillary regardless. So that's when AP admits they, quote, called it for Hillary. And then AP itself, part of the secretive organization, then the next day announced the winners at about 8 o'clock at night. And they did it arrogantly right out in plain view. Why? Because the bigger the fraud, the more you have to act like what you're doing is completely normal. Now, it's very important to note, I have interviewed the late, great Collier brothers. I have interviewed Bev Harris, who made the documentary Hacking Democracy for HBO. I have interviewed hundreds of experts, mathematicians, statisticians, Diebold chief engineers that have testified to legislatures and Congress that they were ordered to engage in fraud. And this is bipartisan. So when Obama denies all this is going on, this is admitted fact. You know about black box voting fraud. Everybody's seen it in the news. Again, it's like he's denying something that everybody knows exists. But what the public's not aware of is how they do it. Now, they can steal the election at the local area with hacking. They can stuff the ballot boxes, and that certainly goes on. But the way it's really done is in close battleground states, you simply have the news announce hours before the polls close that someone else is projected to win, and that other people don't go and cast their ballots, or everyone just kind of gives up and believes that person is really the winner. But no one ever asks who actually tallies the votes at the national level. Shortly after JFK's death in 1963, the Associated Press officially, but very quietly, took over the tabulation nationally of who the supposed winners of the elections were. Election after election, Voter News Service's numbers didn't match up with the real exit polls and recounts. They got caught in so many national computer glitches that they were forced to disband the organization after the 2002 election. But one day later, a new corporation was formed with the exact same 6 companies at the head. And that, of course, was National Election Pool. National Election Pool is made up, again, of the very same mainstream media that runs the fraudulent polls and then ensures that those fraudulent poll numbers are regurgitated on election night. And they're so arrogant, they're so brazen now, that they actually met before multiple primaries, like the California primary, and decided that Bernie Sanders would not get the popular vote. That the spokesperson for the State Department did last Thursday when they brought up how they're supposed to be transparent and open. He made a big joke, and so did the media, and they laughed at the American people.
Welcome to the State Department. I think we have some interns in the back. Welcome. Good to see you in this exercise in transparency and democracy.